So I figure if I only play about 8 or 9 seconds of what I'm listening to, I won't get busted, or I won't get blocked. Hello, people. It's Wednesday, the 25th of January. How y'all doing? That was Ladytron. I had mentioned them before. I just bought their new album, and this is an album they put out a few years ago. I forget the name, but Gravity the Seducer. And they've been putting their albums out in limited editions. This one is in a numbered edition of 2000. It was quite a while ago, but I just missed getting to meet them and hang out with them. They had done some shows with the band The Faint, who are originally from Omaha. And I found out after the fact that Ladytron and The Faint were doing a DJ gig in town. I found out the next day. I was pissed. Really would have liked to have attended that and met the folks. I like that icy sound. Folks, thank you. I'm glad. I appreciate the feedback, and I think that's a testimony to the value of just being oneself, just being real. I don't put time into trying to figure out how to do these videos and how to do this and that. This is me. I get up in the morning and do my morning routine, and I come in here and I make a video. That's simple. Feels good. Feels good. I always figured that it would be cool to be able to do something like this, to interact and to share. Yeah. So the main thing I talk about here is music. I also talk about values because because of the times. When I feel like it, I'll make value statements on my Facebook page. I don't do it every day, but today the one that I made, because I woke up thinking it in the morning. Do good deeds not for recognition, but because it helps. I already got some response. In other words, because you want to, not just because you're able to. Well, that's cool. I mean more than that. Do good deeds because it's the thing to do. Do good works because good works make goodness grow. It helps everyone. It does. It helps. It helps the world to be a decent human being. It really does. So, with that in mind, we just the shooting just keeps going on, doesn't it? Every day. I got a call from my sister Stephanie yesterday. Hey, Stephanie. And I was just talking about it, how my response to the world right now is I just want to stay home. There's nothing out in that world that I really want that much where I want to get out there, where just madness is happening every day. Didn't make the news nationally, but we had a shooting here in Omaha yesterday. I think that it happened at a school. Nobody was killed, so you didn't hear about it. Isn't that pathetic? That it's that bad, that common, that unless it's something big and sensational, you don't hear about it. I blame the media partially, and the owners of the media who are always trying to make money and sell stuff. They sensationalize our problems and our woes for the sake of their profits. And we don't even see it. Most people don't even realize it. We just gobble it up. I have to say these things, I have to. They help my sanity. So, on to music. Here's a burned CD because I've never seen it. Plus, I don't really like to buy CDs. My good friend Blake, who's like a son to me. I mean, he's a friend, but there's a part of our relationship that's very much like, he's like the boy that I didn't have. David, who I helped raise as a son, never had any interest in my music except when I was drumming with the world music band. He kind of dug drums, but other than that, nothing. So Blake is a musician and not even 30 years old yet, and he's just like me. He's kind of crazy, but smart. And so I love to hang out with him. He's my smoking buddy as well as music partner. Yeah, I still like to smoke. I do. I don't drink. But we were listening to something else, and he mentioned the trumpeter Dave Douglas. I can't always remember everything, and I remember I got this burned CD because I didn't know how to find it. Craig Rotterman, if you happen to see this, I think you or one of the guys in your group turned me on to Dave Douglas. At the time, I hadn't focused on him. I'd heard him. Freakin' is the only thing I have by him, but this is very good. And it mixes jazz and electronics. I love it. Also makes me think of the trumpeter Ben Neal, who's doing some innovative things with electronics and trumpet design, actually. Music and art are a healthy focus for a person to have. I say much more focused than organized sports and some of that other stuff. That's just my opinion, but I'm throwing it out there. Yellow Magic Orchestra and the members' music is a staple in my diet. Even when I don't show it in videos where I'm showing what I'm playing, it's not too many days go by without some kind of music from this group of musicians being played. And this is their album, Service, which is songs interspersed with these audio sketches in Japanese. They're like comedy sketches. I think Snake Man Show is involved in those. The songs on here are absolutely top notch. And often what I do is I have the CD and I just program the comedy sketches out and just go song to song because they're just excellent songs. So this is what brought up the Dave Douglas. Yes, so so Blake came by yesterday, and one of these days I'm going to get him on camera when we're not too stoned, okay? Because we do like to get stoned together. So you can meet Blake. I just like people like him. Stephanie, Blake reminds me of the Teeters. Remember the Teeters when we lived next to them? You know, a big family of white kids. They would be considered trailer trash, but to me they were our best friends, and they're our friends. They were great people, real down to earth, and like us, real poor. But they had substance as people. I liked the whole family. Blake reminds me of that. He's that kind of guy. I just love him. So I had pulled this before Blake came by, not with him in mind at all. It was something I saw online that said, well, I haven't played Keef Hartley in a long time. Keef Hartley band, the time is near. So I pulled it. This is one of those bands where their connection to me is more an overall thing, because this is more soul band sound than what I generally go for. But they're good. Keef Hartley is the drummer. But they had horns in the band. They try to do a soul sound. They do. They're trying to pick up on the American rhythm and blues type of thing. They're pretty good for English guys back in the 70s. So that's why they stood out. The album that I really liked by them is Overdog. And my friend Everett had this in high school. When we were back in high school when this first came out in 71 or 2. He had some money, so he was able to buy it. And we really got into it because it was funky. It was these white guys trying to do funk, trying to do black music, but doing it pretty good as far as getting the rhythm down. So I was turning Blake onto this yesterday, and that led to the Dave Douglas. Had some great conversations, you know. That's the thing I like about crazy musicians who are really into music. I'll say me as well. We notice things that your average person doesn't. And it's fun to share that, you know, and that was happening yesterday with Blake, you know. I'd be talking, and the horns would do a break, and all of a sudden you go, whoa, whoa, you know. It's like, that's what I like. Did a poll yesterday. It's like, okay, Derek, you got these records, you got time, not much is going on today. Pull something you wouldn't play out of choice. And that's what I did. I played this yesterday, and I'm glad I did. And it's the other beauty of having a big record collection. It's like having a library in your home. It is a library. Pauline, Oliveros, and Reynols. The Minexcio Connection, live at Roseland Cafe. And these are very obvious stream of consciousness improvisations between these two musicians. They're long and they drone on. The first one, The Invisible Flag Points to the Sun, is the least enjoyable. It's kind of spooky. And it's kind of like I keep waiting. It's like, are they going to move from this spooky, ooh, and it never does. The rest of the pieces do all kinds of things, which I like much more than that one. But again, that's the nature of improvisation and letting the music unfold. Let the music do what it's going to do. So the Dave Douglas conversation brought up New York musicians because Joey Barron plays drums on that. The Joey Barron, that made me think of John Zorn, and so I brought up John Zorn because I didn't remember speaking about John Zorn with Blake. He said, "Oh, sure, I know who Zorn is," and so I was sharing with him that I have John Zorn's first album that he made with Eugene Chadbourne, School. I also shared with him the fact that I got this album. I got Eugene Chadbourne's last copy that he had for sale. I got the last one when I met him the first time. And we vibed. That was another one where we vibed after the Shaka-Belly show, went outside, smoked joints with him and Kramer, and just babbled about music. And we talked about possibly collaborating. So he put his address and phone number on here. When I finally got up the nerve to call him a few years later, I didn't have the money. I mean, he needed to talk about money. Okay, so what are we talking here? You know, what can we do? And I couldn't do it. Interestingly, Kramer, who was also in Shaka-Belly and a producer, got a hold of me, not at the same time, but got a hold of me with the same thing in mind. It's like, hey, you know, I like what you do. You want me to produce you? You know, and I thought, well, that'd be kind of cool to be produced by Kramer. But once we started talking about money, I didn't have it. You know, just didn't have it. But that was nice. It was nice. This is sitting out. I haven't got to it yet. But I like Animal Collective. And this is a Panda Bear solo album that I remember fondly. Person Pitch. I pulled it out yesterday but never got to it. So maybe I'll play it today. Got to see Animal Collective live. Didn't stick around to talk to them. I enjoyed their show, but it got to a point where I said, okay, that's enough of this, because after a while it was just kind of all sounding the same, even though it doesn't sound the same. You know what I mean? So that's that. Folks, that's what I want to share today. Again, I appreciate this interaction, this exchange. Even though you're not there physically, what I'm doing and what's happening here, there's an energy created. You can feel it, can't you? Because I'm feeling it now. It's a camaraderie that is there. You know, this shared interest is a real, tangible thing. I love sharing it. It's much, again, like I said, I could be a completely different person. I'm aware of my charisma. And when I was younger, I observed how some people use their charisma to use people and to fool them and to manipulate them. And I can do it. And when I was younger, there were a few times that I did. And I'm not happy about what I learned from those things. It's like, no, that's not who I am. I don't like this feeling. I don't like taking advantage of just because I can get your money or get you to do this for me or take me somewhere or whatever, you know. It's not a good feeling for me. Some people get off on it. That gets into that S&M sort of mindset. No, thank you. So, whatever you're doing at the time of day or night that you see this, I hope it goes well for you. And as always, leave comments. I appreciate them.